Welcome to another update from Elixir's voyage around the world. Currently, we're somewhere in the middle of the Pacific Ocean on board Elixir, a 1970s Swan 37. My name's Max, and after restoring Elixir in the UK, I've spent the last 3 years slowly circumnavigating with a group of friends. This 2,800 nautical mile passage is the longest of the trip so far. It will take us from the sleepy shores of Mexico to the otherworldly islands of the Marquesas. Also on board we have Chloe, a friend from back home in Cornwall who has been a part of the project from day one, and Alex from Chicago who grew up racing sailing boats on Lake Michigan. During the final half of the crossing we experienced light winds and blue skies, with a few scorching days making for slow progress downwind with our big colourful spinnaker. We made our way across the equator before running into some challenging weather as we continued south into the Southern Hemisphere. We were told that around latitude 5 degrees we would find the doldrums, or the convergence zone, which is a period of a region of light variable winds. And we've got to 5 degrees and this is what we found. This is probably the most wind that we've seen on the whole passage so far actually, and we're like 300 miles from the equator. Yeah, so that's interesting. How do you feel about it?
I'm hungry and cold.
If you want to go inside and make your breakfast, I can say it's starting to die down a bit now, but earlier the seas were actually getting pretty steep. We took this one wave right on the corner of the boat, pretty much pushed Elixir onto her side, and it was just too much for Henry to handle. So temporarily he's out of action, but we do have quite a few spares on board, so hopefully we'll be able to fix him later. For now we're just hand steering until the sea starts to calm down a bit, because the waves are still pretty big. But I don't know why earlier this cloud just came through and started gusting over 30 knots of wind with pretty steep seas, and some of them were just so steep and breaking, and they were pushing Elixir all over the place. And yeah, they took out the self-steering gear. I was not expecting to have this sort of weather here, but we'll see what happens. So it's been almost 3 years since we left the UK, and since then we've ticked off almost 7,000 miles. If you could tick the subscribe button and put a smile on the faces of the Elixir crew, we'd be very grateful, and it helps out the journey a lot. Thank you.
We had quite a lot of weather helm happening, a lot of pressure on the steering wheel. But it's kind of died off a little bit. I've just been trying to navigate these waves coming in so they don't crash over the side of the boat anymore. But yeah, it was nice to have Henry while he was here. This is fun though. I love steering like in high winds. Like I just love sailing in high winds. It's more fun.
It had been 10 days now since we left Mexico and sailed out into the Pacific. Everyone had developed some kind of routine, and we were adjusted to the constant roll of life underway. Although the three of us were sharing a tiny space, we alternate 3-hour watches, and during our downtime we're either resting, reading, or cooking food, or just staring out at the horizon. Without any of the distractions of the modern world, we were completely immersed in nature and the endless expanse of open ocean. So this is day 14 of our Pacific crossing. We are about 3 degrees north of the equator. As you can see, we've still got wind, which is great. I thought that we would be in the doldrums by now, but apparently not. And yeah, this is the furthest south I've ever been on Elixir. This will be the longest passage I've ever had on Elixir, and this is probably the closest I've ever come to growing a beard as well, which is also very exciting. The new mainsail from Precision Sails has been a complete game changer. We've actually been flying. I think it's increased our boat speed by like a knot, especially when we're reaching or going upwind. It's amazing how much difference a well-shaped sail makes. We've been sailing close hauled all day into a pretty flat sea. It's quite a light breeze, but we've still been making decent speed. The day after tomorrow, we're going to have our equator crossing party, which is exciting. For all of us, this was our first time sailing across the equator. It felt like a big deal, taking Elixir into the Southern Hemisphere, like we're at the beginning of a whole new chapter.
We've started a really important tradition to celebrate each week. Kinder Buenos. So I'm going to put them into the fridge so they're nice and cool and crisp, and we can enjoy them later.
Alex, why are you dressed like that?
Because we're about to cross the equator. We're crossing into the Southern Hemisphere and we're celebrating Neptune, and we're just going to sacrifice something and cheers him. It's exciting, yeah.
Why are you dressed like that?
Because it's Sunday. Why not?
Is there someone you're trying to impress?
No, a little guy I like to call Poseidon.
Today is a big day. We're less than a mile away from the equator, and as you can see, it's a big occasion on board Elixir.
We're pumped.
We're excited. Everyone's dressed up and we've got our gifts to offer Neptune. The tradition is to do a toast where you know, offer some sort of beverage to the god Neptune. We're not really drinkers on board Elixir, so we have Mexico's finest hydration drink, but we also thought that we should offer him something alcoholic as well in case he's into that. So we've got this bottle of Mexican tequila.
Where did we get it from?
Which we won in a race.
Yeah.
It hasn't been drunk. Yeah, and then we've got some small little gifts as well, some personal things that we're going to throw overboard.
It's happening. It's not Elixir's first time, so she's taking us through it. We're all equator crossing virgins. Yeah. But Elixir's like, I got this. It's nice to have an excuse to dress up, throw on some glad rags.
Is that your gift for?
Yeah, it is. I got it while I was here in Mexico and had it on while I was traveling, and I think it's like a good symbolism to thank, you know, to thank you for my time here and just being grateful.
Yeah. Nice. 10, 9, 8, 5. Shit, it's happening so fast. 3, 2, 1. Yes! Southern Hemisphere. All right, let's do this.
Can you imagine a greater sacrifice than my second stick of weekly Kinder Bueno? What more could Neptune want?
3, 2, 1. Yeah, I know, I've never done this before. Cheers.
Cheers.
Whoa, electrolyte tastes good. Me and Max, we had a bit of an issue with the consumption of these in Mexico. Some may call it an addiction, and God, it tastes good.
Look. As you can tell, it was a big day for us, and it felt great to dress up, celebrate, and dance around for a bit in the cockpit. I've also got a little equator crossing surprise to give to my crewmates, and I think they're going to be pretty excited.
Wow. Beans!
Sorry Alex, I know they're more exciting for Chloe than you, but these are from Jenny, she gave them to us.
Oh, that's nice.
But that, obviously, I feel like once you try them, you'll realise.
Heinz beans are something that everybody who's American doesn't seem to understand how amazing they are. They're like white beans, like think haricot beans, coated in like a really nice tomatoey sauce. It's not ketchup, it's like kind of sweet, kind of salty, and in England there's a variety of ways to have it. Personal favourites include beans on toast. You have them hot, of course. Some perverts have them cold out the tin. I'm not that much of an obsessive. But yeah, beans on toast, a bit of butter, or for the vegan option, olive oil and balsamic vinegar. Alternatively, jacket potato, beans, cheese. God! Stuff of gods, that. What a treat. We also forgot that we have biscuits. We forgot the biscuits.
We've got so many treats today, just wait.
Oh my God, I can't believe we have beans.
The Pacific crossing is made up of 3 main parts. The first section, the Northeast Trades, was behind us. We had to pass through the typically calm convergence zone before we could pick up the Southeast trade winds, which would carry us all the way to the Marquesas. The equator sits in the middle of the convergence zone, otherwise known as the doldrums. We expected to cross it with little to no wind, however that was not the case, and it felt like Neptune was looking out for us by sending some breeze.
Southern Hemisphere update. Not sure Neptune liked our sacrifices. It's raining.
A full English breakfast.
Yeah, about as close as you can get to a full English out at sea. Thank you very much, Max and Alex. Why does it always rain on my watch? Alex, what did Max do right now?
We had our tea time, we had our designated brownies, and he took an extra one.
He took an extra one and he just said, just for my watch. There he is. It's in his little gob now.
The culprit.
This is the snack place. Whoop, 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 whoop. It's 8 AM. We're probably on hour 10, 11 of constant squalls. It's been so wet all night. I had night watch from 9 PM till midnight, and it was raining constantly. Furled the head sail a few times, had to keep adjusting the wind vane so we were sailing downwind. And then I came back on at 6 AM. Just as my alarm went off, I heard the rain start again. Everything is just so grey. It should be sunrise right now, and it's just, everything is so grey. I don't really understand how there's any rain left in the sky.
It's day 18 and it looks like we've picked up the southeast trade winds. They're a little bit stronger than I thought they would be. There's quite a lot of swell as well, and we're reaching, so it's like right on the beam, so it's throwing Elixir around a little bit, but we are moving pretty quickly. There's a lot of water coming onto the deck. Last night we had quite an intense succession of squalls coming through. There was one every 2 hours, I think, so pretty much on everyone's night watch they had 2 squalls, which just brought like torrential rain and maybe 25 to 30 knots of wind. So it was quite a difficult night just because the wind was constantly picking up. It was so much rain, like I had no idea it could even rain that much.
So we crossed the equator 2 days ago. The wind did not slow down, so we didn't get to go swimming, but we're grateful for the wind because it's nice to like be on our way. We have less than 1,000 miles left, and we have both of our sails reefed right now, so you know, we're just getting closer and closer, more milestones. Yeah, the last 24 hours has kind of been hell. It was just like raining torrentially through all of our ships last night. We've all been so tired, like putting on and off our wet gear, letting it dry, like having like our go all over the place and things getting wet inside the boat. So we're just kind of happy that it's dry right now, but I'm literally staring at like a dark cloud. So just non-stop rain, everything wet. You're kind of, since you're kind of sitting in a pool of water really, so just completely drenched. I've had better times, but I'm still having a good time. We just finished off the last of the brownies that we made for Equator Day, so there's some joy to be found in every moment.
Oh hey, the last 24 hours have been very wet. Actually not with seawater so much, mostly with rain. Genuinely the most rain I've ever seen, and I know I'm an English person and I love to complain about the weather, but I've never been so f***ing wet in my life. Like dripping. I was just sat here in the cockpit with everything like hunched over and facing down, so water didn't flood my sleeves or my neck or my ankles. A lot of adjusting the wind vane during the squalls, pulling in and out the head sail, but we got through it. And still feeling grateful that we've got wind. We've had wind the whole convergence zone. Doldrums for the everyman. Because we were like all dreading just being really slow and stuck and having to run the engine. Even though it's kind of hellish, feeling grateful to have come out the other side, really hoping tonight isn't wet because it's just miserable. We've got big seas now, which makes things a bit wonky inside, but yeah, it's good to be moving. We're going at like over 6 knots, which is exactly what we want to be doing to get to our destination, hopefully in the next 8 days to a week.
We're into the final stage of our journey, which is the southeast trade winds. So we've come out of the convergence zone, which was a really quick crossing. Like we had wind the whole way, which was great. We just had completely flat seas and a nice breeze right on the beam, so we just did it in like 3 days, so it was great. It's a strong trade wind at the moment, so it's like towards 20 knots probably, with yeah, a decent bit of swell as well. We've got 2 reefs in the main, 3 reefs in the Genoa, and we're still making decent speed. The wind's on the beam now, we're reaching, and which is why it's kind of wet, but it's quick.
Quick and wet, that's how you like them, isn't it, Max?
Yeah.
Oh man.
When will it be over?
It seemed like there was always a dark cloud lurking on the horizon. After each squall finished, it wasn't long before we spotted another. These squalls are basically like mini storms that are found in the tropics. They are especially common around the equator. Although they are uncomfortable, they are fairly predictable and easy to spot, meaning we had plenty of warning to reef the sails and close the hatches before getting hit by a wall of wind and rain.
Poor Max is out in another squall now. They've just been quite relentless. Look, it's just drips everywhere. We're rocking so much you can just see the horizon disappear. But we are moving fast, so it's like we're paying a price for it, but we're gonna get there faster. So trying to keep that mentality, because otherwise it's just wet. Like all our beds are wet, all our stuff is wet. I'm not ever really dry because I'm coated in like so much salt water, and then when it gets wet it just like reinvigorates it. But yeah, we're trying to keep a positive mentality because we're only like 6 days away now, which is really exciting.
It was definitely a struggle, but despite the difficult conditions, we still managed to stay positive.
What do you say to this rain?
Stop! Stop it!
No! I don't think our manifestation skills are very good, Matt.
Stop it now!
You naughty boy! Is it a boy?
Yes, El Nino throwing his toys out.
Yes, El Nino, he started walking.
El Nino's hit the terrible too. Day 20 today, and the last few days have been quite wet and windy. We haven't seen sunshine for about 4 days. Yeah, basically it's just been grey, overcast, windy with quite frequent rain squalls. We can spot the clouds coming on the distance, and then the wind starts to pick up, and then before you know it, it's gusting like 30 knots and it starts to rain torrentially. And these can last for like an hour, sometimes 2 hours, sometimes even longer. So it's been pretty tiring because some nights we've had like 3 or 4 come through in a night, which means constant sail changes, constant changing of direction, and as soon as you get outside, you're soaked. It also means that we've had to keep the boat shut up, so everything inside has become quite damp. It stopped raining. The clouds haven't parted yet, but it stopped raining, so we've made the most of the opportunity to bring all of our stuff outside to dry off our wet weather gear. It sucks putting on wet weather gear in the middle, wet weather gear in the middle of the night, so we're making the most of the break in the rain. Thankfully, after 4 days of rain, the skies opened up and we were back to the kind of trade wind sailing that we expected from the passage. Suddenly, life on board Elixir became comfortable again and we started enjoying ourselves. We were almost into our 4th week and the passage was slowly coming to an end.
Today might be our last day. Well, it is going to be our last day. I haven't checked exactly how many miles we have left, but we should get to Fatuhiva during the day tomorrow. Pretty exciting. It feels weird. We've been on the boat now for 3 weeks and just honestly been staring at blue. We haven't seen land since day 1, so we're excited to look at the horizon tomorrow and see something blurry and brown pop up. Do I want to get back on land yet? I'm really enjoying my book. Like, I feel like I'm gonna be kind of overwhelmed by people and my phone getting internet again, like texting, and I'm excited to talk to my family. I've been able to think like really clearly, and so I've been enjoying that. So complicated, I have complicated feelings. I think I could keep going on the boat for maybe another week, a week and a half before I'm like, all right, I need to exit.
Could you carry on sailing?
Nah, I'm Romeo done. It's been nice, but we kind of always had 3 weeks in our heads, and it's been just over 3 weeks now, so. But I'm really excited to just meet some people, start learning about French Polynesia, yeah, see the country, see the land, eat some fruit, eat some fresh food, fresh vegetables, fresh fruit, can't wait for that.
For the last week we've pretty much had the same wind, same strength, same direction, and yeah, we've been flying. It's been a broad reach, so the wind's been coming from like behind me, and we've been making 6.5 knots pretty consistently, doing 140 to 150 miles a day. Yeah, we're really closing in on the Marquesas now. We should spot Fatuhiva, which is where we're making landfall tomorrow morning probably.
Finally, one more question.
Alright.
What's that thing on your face?
This. Every time we've done an ocean crossing, I don't shave, just out of curiosity to see how much of a beard I can grow. And this is probably the most facial hair I've ever had in my whole life. I'm 27 and I haven't shaved for 3.5 weeks. And this is the result.
It's beautiful.
Which I'm pretty proud of.
How do you zoom in on this thing?
And on the final night of the passage, we were treated to both a nice sunset and a full moon. No unexpected squalls or rain, just a peaceful night of trade wind sailing. It was an opportunity to reflect on the passage and all the different moments and challenges we'd faced, and relish the final moments of being alone in this wild environment. We just spotted land for the first time in 23 days, and it's about 20 miles away, so it's a pretty faint outline on the horizon, but it's definitely an island, and it's really nice to see it.
I'm so pumped. I can't stop smiling. It was a beautiful sunrise, and I'm literally jumping up and down because I can't believe that we left from one side of an ocean and we're staring at land right now. It's incredible.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited. It's quite mysterious appearance of land. It's really blends into the clouds, but you can see the one edge of the island just sloping down.
Are you a land hoe?
Now I can just turn around and go back again, to be honest.
Are you a land hoe?
I think I'm definitely a land hoe.
I'm a land hoe.
We spent the whole morning on deck, watching this strange island grow out of the horizon. I'd heard a lot about the beauty of the Marquesas, and as we slowly came closer, it was easy to see why.
Well, I said I saw a little face on the north end, and then the whole mountain being the body. Max didn't really think the same. I guess that we're looking for anything. We haven't seen land in a long time, so we're using our imagination here.
It's very beautiful, very verdant, and I can smell a difference in the air. It smells dusty, doesn't smell as salty anymore. There's no roads, no signs of life whatsoever, so I'm interested to see what we're going to see when we get to the east side of the island. We know there's 2 anchorages and a road, minimal, maybe a shop and a church, I think, is all that we could see. Post office, snack bar.
We've just been watching this little island grow. Yeah, it looks really interesting. It's obviously quite hilly. There's some spiky mountains, and it looks like a great island. I've never seen an island like this before. Yeah, and I can't wait to go and have a little look and have a little leg stretch.
The anchorage is right over there. We can see loads of masts, probably 10 to 15 boats, which is going to be weird. I don't know if we're ready to talk to anyone else yet. We're coming! Go! Wait, should I bring this? Okay, Elixir is coming in. Let's go!
Just a little bit away from the boat, right? Yeah.
The scenery was unreal, and it felt like we'd sailed into another world. I couldn't believe the beauty of Fatu Hiva, and we were surrounded by our friends, and I felt so happy to be there. There's nothing like the feeling of reward and satisfaction that comes with sailing to a new country, especially when you have to cross an ocean to get there. It was the end of the crossing, but the beginning of Elixir's chapter in the South Pacific, and I couldn't think of a better way to start. Thanks again for watching another one of our updates. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel. If you want to sail on Elixir, then sign up to our Patreon to be the first to hear any crew calls that I'm going to put out in the future. And also check out our merch, organic cotton, water-based ink, designed by Layla. They're great. Thanks again for watching, and see you in the next video.